Hello, it's Deb here, and it's day 15 of the Countdown to Christmas Alternative Advent Calendar. How are we possibly halfway through already? I can't believe it. Anyway, today I want to talk to you about being open and honest in your relationship. Be honest with yourself. How open and honest are you within your relationship? And examples of openness and honesty can come from anywhere. The classic one is not telling your partner quite how much you really spent on that new dress or shoes or handbag. Taking the tags away, knocking a few pounds off what you paid for it, and letting them know it was a sales bargain. Hands up, we've all done that at one time or another, haven't we? And we can laugh and joke about that, but that can lead us into other areas of the relationship where you really do need to be open and honest. One of the biggest areas that I work with my clients is the area of finance. And finances have a massive impact on relationships. They can impact whether you don't have enough money, whether one of you is earning more than the other, one of you has different spending patterns to the other, maybe one's a spender, one's a saver. But this isn't a broadcast about money and relationships. We can go into that another time. One of the biggest issues I find is when one partner isn't open and honest about the amount of debt they have. It has significant impacts on the relationship, not just on the person who's carrying the debt and keeping that secret, but on the person who finds out about it at a later stage. And the same can be said for any secret, whether it's finance, whether it's the fact that you're really not happy and you're planning to leave the relationship. Could be that one of you is having an affair and you're keeping that a secret. Whatever your secret is, it has an impact on the relationship, whether you know it or not. And here's the science bit, which I often speak about with my clients when I'm training with them or working through my program with them, is that the human mind can't hold two opposing dichotomies. So on the one hand, you want to be the loving wife, partner, spouse, whatever. But on the other, you don't want them to find out this one thing. So in all other areas of your life, you're really open and honest with them. But there's this one thing that you're keeping from them. And that's an opposing dichotomy. Basically, it's a different idea, a different thought to the one you normally have. And what happens in the brain is that the two thoughts just compete against each other until eventually there's an explosion. And that's usually when the truth comes out. If you've ever heard that phrase, the truth will out sometime, you'll know what I'm talking about. It was a very favorite phrase of my mum, certainly my grandparents, and they always knew, even when I was a teenager, if I was hiding something from them, they knew. And my mother would say, the truth will out. Carried that with me into my adult life. And some people say I'm disarmingly honest. I just tell the truth. That's the way it is, because actually, no matter how hard the truth is, it's always easier than trying to mess up, or trying to mop up rather, after there have been a load of lies and deception. Because the impact that has on a relationship is that it makes the trust disappear. It might not disappear completely, but it certainly gets eroded for a while. And it is so much more difficult to build up trust in a relationship around a certain issue when there's been a pattern or a history of mistruths and dishonesty. So I'd like you to have a really serious think about how open and honest are you really in your relationship. Now, I'm not holding you accountable here. You're holding yourself accountable to this one. But think about it. If you're not being open and honest now, why should your partner think you are being open and honest about everything else? And if you're not being open and honest, why not? What is it that stops you from being open and honest? This is a time of year where we have so much pressure and stress on us. And yes, it's a time where there are secrets, where you don't tell people what you've bought them. You want it to be a surprise, and that's absolutely fine. But when it comes to the big stuff, that's what we need to look at. That's what we need to work on to avoid you having bigger issues of trust, mistrust further down the line. If you want some help working on that, let me know, get in touch. Otherwise, just have a think about it and see what you can do to change the perception you have about being open and honest completely in your relationship. Because when you reach that stage of openness and honesty, you'll find your relationship takes on a completely different level, and you start to become truly unconditional in your relationship. And that's when you really know that everything you'll do is coming from a place of love, even if it's a difficult conversation or something difficult that you have to admit to. Let me know how you get on. I'll catch up with you again tomorrow on day 16. Thank you so much for joining me.